Welcome back, fight fans. We got a big one today, the one we've all been waiting for. The trilogy, UFC 264, McGregor vs. Poirier 3. Let's get into it. Boy, 2 weeks ago, I was knocked the fuck out from pure boredom watching that Cyril Gane versus Volkov card. Horrible matchups. It was horrible matchups.
Horrible fighter.
Last week, no UFC as well. Took a bit of a break, but it's good to be back. Pay-per-view action, sold out crowd in Las Vegas. Thank God. Plenty of action this Saturday. Guys, don't forget to catch some of the prelims as well. You got Nico Price versus Michael Pereira, fun welterweight scrap. Also, you have Ryan Hall versus Ilia Topuria at 145, and UFC vet Carlos Conduit taking on Max Griffin. Carlos, on a scale of 1 through 10, how excited are you about this card?
Look, the wait is finally over. We get to see the trilogy of one of the best rivalries in the UFC. Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor. They're 1-1, and we will see who comes out victorious, which could undoubtedly lead to a title shot against the new 155 champ, Charles Oliveira. And then on top of that, we have some very exciting fights. So I would say my excitement's 10 out of 10 here, especially back in Las Vegas, back in the T-Mobile Arena, full crowd. I just can't wait. And you know, with Conor McGregor, with all the Irish fans he brings with him, it's going to be just nuts.
The momentum's going to be crazy. The crowd, it's going to be great to see.
And on top of that, you know, some of the fights on the card, one of which I thought should have gone on the main card, in my opinion, but it's set in the prelims. You have Nico Price versus Michel Pereira. I think that fight is going to be wild. Don't miss it. Don't blink. Also, if you catch it, you got fight of the night potential. Along with the Vegas crowd. It's going to be great. Also, a fight that's deservedly moved from early prelims to prelims is Ryan Hall versus Ilia Topuria. Listen, Ryan Hall, he's an exciting fighter to watch. He has a really good BJJ. They call this guy the Wizard for a reason. If he gets a hold of a limb, he's taking it, basically.
Gone. Yeah.
The way he submitted BJ Penn in the first round via heel hook, it was just phenomenal. Ryan Hall is a problem, and I hope he gets more attention with this being probably one of the biggest cards of the year. If he pulls off the win, I would like to see him get matched up with some ranked opponents possibly, but I don't necessarily think it's a layup for Hall. His opponent, Topuria, who's 10-0, he also has a very good ground game. 7 of his 10 wins are by sub. So all in all, this will be another fun fight to watch out for.
Plenty of scraps Saturday night, guys. Don't miss early prelims. It's gonna be a fun one. All right, first up we have Sean O'Malley, 13-1, the favorite, minus 900 versus Chris Moutinho, 9-4, the underdog, plus 550. Now, first things first, big respect to Moutinho taking this fight late notice. As we all know, O'Malley's supposed to fight Louis Smolka. Apparently, Smolka had an infection that prevented him from receiving medical clearance, so he had to drop out. Now, why the UFC chose Moutinho over UFC fighters already on the roster like Ricky Simon, Rob Divashvili, hell, even Ray Borg offered to fight him. No fucking clue why. I don't understand it. I mean, O'Malley is fun to watch, don't get me wrong. But as far as competition goes, Quinones, Eddie Wyland, super washed Thomas Almeida. Besides Marlon Vera, which he lost that fight, well, he really hasn't fought anybody in the bottom 15 or lower 10 rankings. And he's fought 5 times in the UFC already. It's almost like, I don't want to say cherry picking, but they definitely want this guy to keep winning as much as possible and taking on this lower end competition. So having said all that, Chris Moutinho, big opportunity here. You know, I hope he finds some success, makes it entertaining. This is the first fight of the main card, you know, but I think Sean O'Malley, just with the late notice and everything, I think he takes this one round 2 TKO.
Pretty much gonna have to agree. So in this fight, like you mentioned, Sean O'Malley's facing a short notice opponent who's making their debut to the UFC. Before getting this fight, I mean, he was 2-2 in his last 4, with 2 of those losses coming via KO. Now, I don't necessarily think that his previously scheduled opponent, who had to pull out, Louis Smolka, would have given O'Malley much more trouble. So, I mean, O'Malley's the front runner in this fight. I feel like this will put more eyeballs on O'Malley, as he'll probably style on Moutinho, get a flashy KO like he usually does against most of the opponents he faces. You can definitely tell that they are carefully giving O'Malley favorable matchups to not, I guess, only develop him, as he is only 26, but to provide an exciting fight to bolster a pay-per-view that they put him on. Kind of reminds me of Charles Oliveira, but obviously O'Malley's got a different skill set. But yeah, they're just kind of giving him, I guess you could say, cherry-picked fights. He gets flashy KOs, and then when he fights some competition and Marlon Vera, I mean, he got finished in the first round. So like I said, it's a short notice fight. I don't think there's much to it. We're probably going to see, honestly, a first round KO by Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Fun fact, this is going to be the 6th UFC fight for Sean O'Malley. Not ranked. Zero gone, 3 or 4 fights. Or no, I think he has 4 or 5 fights. What's he ranked? Number 3? Heavyweight?
3, yeah.
Wow. That's all I'm going to say.
The difference there, I would say, is like heavyweight is a bad division compared to 135. Like, you do have a lot of killers there, but like, yeah, I mean, that is weird.
He needs to be ranked. He needs to find someone ranked at least. Come on.
Yeah, I definitely, he'll probably get the win here. He definitely needs to be matched up against somebody who's ranked.
Little mid-level competition ain't gonna hurt, buddy. All right, next up, a very fun woman weight bantam. Sorry. All right, next up, a very high-level women's bantamweight scrap here. Irene Aldana, number 4 ranked, 12-6. She is the favorite, minus 115, versus Yana Kunitskaya.
Yana Kunitskaya.
Number 5 ranked, 14-5. Similar odds. She is also minus 105. So which means this matchup, when both fighters are the favorite, have a minus in front of their odds. It's pretty much even matchup here. Now, Aldana 3-2 her last 5 compared to Kunitskaya 4-1. Unfortunately, don't know too much about Aldana. Haven't seen her fights besides some highlights against Holly Holm, which she lost that fight. But Kunitskaya, I know a little bit about. She's on a good run here. All 4 wins in the UFC have been by decision. She has great striking, smart fight IQ, and when she wants, she can land some takedowns. That's always nice to have. A couple of her noticeable wins were against Caitlin Vera, Julija Strolinenko, and Marion Reneau. And hey, let's not forget, she's also been in cage with former champ Chris Cyborg. She got laid out, took it out in the first round, but still shows plenty of heart and spirit. I got Kunitskaya winning by decision here.
So we actually have a top 5 matchup here in the women's bantamweight division. Aldana is ranked number 4, while Kunitskaya is ranked number 5. Aldana coming off a loss to Holly Holm and hasn't fought in 8 months. Meanwhile, Kunitskaya is on a 2-fight win streak with wins against Caitlin Vieira and Julija Stolyarenko. Now, keep in mind, they have a common opponent in Vieira. While Yana was able to win by decision, Aldana knocked her out clean. But anyways, I feel like Aldana relies on keeping the fight standing while staying back and setting up counters, while Kunitskaya can use volume striking to set up takedowns and bank control time to win a decision. If you look at Aldana's last fight against Holly Holm, that's pretty much what Holly Holm did. Although she could hang with her striking, she was taken down 5 times. So I think in this fight, Yana can dictate where the fight will go, use her jab to score points, and eventually set up a takedown, control Aldana on the ground, and get the decision victory. I have Yana Kunitskaya by decision.
All right, moving forward. Fun heavyweight matchup. Might be a quick one here. We got Tai Tuivasa, 12-3. He is the favorite, minus 130, versus Greg Hardy, 7-3, the underdog, plus 110. Now, Tuivasa, 2-3 his last 5 fights, but those 2 wins, back-to-back TKOs in the first round. I believe he's going to want to continue his recent trend, rush Hardy, apply an insane amount of pressure, land as much as heavy shots as possible, and get him out in the first. Now, Hardy, 2-2 his last 5. 1 was a no contest. His 2 wins were against Maurice Green and Jorgen De Castro. Yeah, I don't know about this guy, Chief. Not too much competition there. I did catch his last fight against Marcin Tybura, which in the second, Hardy got taken down. Tybura just went to work on this guy. And yeah, he caught the ground and pound, took the L. Luckily for Hardy, I think stylistically, this plays into his favor. The taller fighter, longer reach, etc. Tuivasa isn't looking for any takedowns this fight. Pretty much these guys are going to be in the center of the octagon. They're just going to stand and bang. Hey, whoever drops first is going to catch that L. I think it'll be a quick one, but I got Tuivasa round 2 TKO finish. Tuivasa can take a punch. He's always going up against the taller opponents. That doesn't phase him one bit. and his pressure and strike output is going to be key to winning this fight.
Good take. Yeah, I mean, both of these fighters, they have a very high finish rate. Tai Tuivasa having 91% finish rate, Hardy having 86% finish rate. You know, with Hardy in his last fight against Marcin Tybura, you know, he got taken down, he got finished on the ground. I don't think that's something he really has to worry about in this fight. His other big loss when he fought Volkov, you know, one of the top heavyweights of the division, he actually survived a decision with him.
3 rounds.
And did decent in that fight as well. He doesn't really have to worry about 2 of those things in this fight. He doesn't have to worry about Tai Tuivasa being strategic necessarily, or, you know, going to a decision. Tai Tuivasa, just like Hardy, it's basically going to be rock'em sock'em robots. Yeah, this should be a don't blink fight. Both of these fighters usually go for the finish early. They're going to empty the gas tank early. I'm probably thinking this is going to be a first round KO for Tai Tuivasa.
Okay, co-main time. We have number 2 ranked Gilbert Burns, 19-4. He is the underdog, plus 140, versus number 4 ranked Stephen Thompson, 16-4-1. He is the favorite, minus 160. Interesting high ranked welterweight matchup here. Perfect co-main fight. Both of these guys have had their moments. Thompson, impressive wins over Jeff Neal, Vicente Luque, and Jorge Masvidal. Always fun to watch. His karate style striking, he has insane kicks, and he's deadly from all angles. Whether he's throwing a leg kick, kick to your stomach, or a head kick, it's going to be something huge, and you got to look out for that. Striking is definitely going to be key for Thompson here. He's going to want to keep his distance at first, not get laid out by Burns' power strikes. If he throws his leg kicks early on, consistently scoring points, and keeps his combos flowing, well, I think Thompson has his fight in the bag. But against Gilbert Burns, 4-1 his last 5. This guy can do it all. Wrestling, striking, BJJ. This guy has the tool sets to one day become a champion. But Wonder Boy is a very tough challenger. He has that awkward style. You don't know what he's going to do. He may be a little bit too difficult to figure out. This is only 3 rounds, by the way, for Burns. So we'll see how this plays out. It's going to be a fun co-main event either way. But I got Thompson winning by decision.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So here we have a great co-main in which could possibly lead to a title shot. You know, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has rattled off a couple vintage wins against Vicente Luque and Jeff Neal. You got Gilbert Burns, who is coming off a loss to Kamaru Usman, but before that was on a very impressive 6-fight winning streak. Now, how can this play out? So you got Stephen Thompson, who has that very wide karate stance and easily switch from orthodox to southpaw, constantly bouncing around the cage, managing distance, setting up high kicks, spinning back kicks. Just an overall very cerebral kickboxer. And he has some pretty good takedown defense as well, as shown in the Tyron Woodley fights. He has some decent power. He's very precise, very accurate striker. It was enough to drop the likes of Vicente Luque, who has a very good chin. He's known to have a granite chin. He's been in some wars. Then you have Gilbert Burns, who is a very explosive striker, utilizes leg kicks, has significant power. He's dropped fighters like Tyron Woodley, current champ Kamaru Usman, Damian Maia. He's also a world-class grappler. He's a 3-time world champ, BJJ champion. He's a gold medalist in the World Cup of BJJ, that the competition they have in Abu Dhabi. I mean, there's a reason why when he fought Kamaru Usman, Usman wanted no part of Burns on the ground. So what can happen in this fight? I'd like to look at the Vicente Luque fight with Stephen Thompson, where Stephen Thompson was doing his thing, bouncing around, catching Vicente. But there was a lot of times throughout all 3 rounds where Vicente Luque was catching Thompson. And credit to Thompson, he ate those shots, was able to return on his own and even drop Luque at one point. Masterfully, set up some spinning back kicks, utilized a good front kick and side kick, and he ended up edging out the win against Vicente Luque, which, seeing that fight again was a lot closer than I thought it was. And Vicente, he didn't really utilize leg kicks. He threw like maybe 3 or 4 spread out through 3 rounds. And even though Stephen Thompson is very good about switching stances, I feel like with his super wide stance, he puts all the weight on his front foot. I feel like you could really capitalize on getting some calf kicks in there which Gilbert Burns is really good at. So in this fight, what do I think? I think Gilbert Burns is very explosive. You look at the Tyron Woodley fight, I mean, he's just in his face constantly throwing. He has crazy cardio too. If you don't remember, that was a main event 5-round fight, and throughout the whole 5 rounds, he was at Tyron Woodley trying to get him out there. Credit to Tyron Woodley. Yeah, huge pressure. Credit to Tyron Woodley for surviving in that fight, but he dropped him a few times. I believe if Gilbert Burns can utilize those leg kicks, if he can be explosive, it's like you said, it's only a 3-round fight. So if he can put his foot on the gas pedal the whole fight, I think he can take out Stephen Thompson. And if at all, he can hurt him, get him on the ground, and finish him there.
That's a good take. Yeah. This is a dangerous fight for Thompson, but I love the UFC vet here. You know, he's not scared of anybody. We'll see how it plays out. It's a great co-main event. You guys can't miss this one. Finally, main event. Number 1, lightweight, Dustin Poirier, 27-6. He's the favorite, -130, versus number 5, Conor McGregor, 22-5. He's the underdog, +110. Carlos, take it away.
All right, so this is the fight we're all here for. This is the big one, the trilogy versus Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. How will this go? Well, you got Dustin Poirier, who's, you know, on a good 2-fight win streak. And before that, you know, he was on a 4-fight win streak before he faced Khabib, and he got finished. You know, nothing to hang your head on there. No one beat Khabib.
No one.
But you look at the second fight between Conor and Dustin, and you see how it played out, right? Compared to their first fight. Conor came out in the first fight with a very wide stance, karate, using a lot of kicks, spinning back kicks, just crazy stuff. He opened the fight with the spinning back kick. If you look in that fight as well, Dustin Poirier was actually utilizing leg kicks. The difference being between the first and the second fight is Dustin Poirier was aiming those kicks towards the thigh on McGregor, compared to the second fight where he was attacking the calf. Obviously, as we know now, years later, the calf kick is such a big, huge weapon in the MMA right now. If you land a few of those, you know, you can immobilize anybody, any striker, especially Conor, who's very heavy in the front foot. So in the second fight, we saw Conor, you know, fight pretty well, even though he wasn't as active. He did catch Dustin Poirier a lot, and he even caught him with his best shot. And Dustin Poirier, like I said, compared to the first fight, he just ate it, and he continued to be in there, launch those calf kicks. He caught Conor a few times in the first round, and from there, Dustin Poirier just started to take over. In the second round, he started landing more, timing Conor coming in. Conor, like in the second fight, he really just kind of took a very just boxing centric approach. He wasn't really utilizing as many leg kicks or kicks in general. I mean, he was just boxing out there. And you even saw Dustin Poirier mix in a takedown, I believe, in the first round. And even though Conor, you know, he did get up from that, and he was actually very good in the clinch, surprisingly, weirdly utilizes that shoulder strike better than anybody I've ever seen utilize that. And I know Dustin was kind of having fun with him there and trying to, you know, throw that back, but it just wasn't the same. But all said and done, you know, he utilized the calf kicks, immobilized Conor. And then when Dustin knows you're hurt, he really knows how to finish you. He just goes all out, constant combos. He hurts Conor, having his leg completely shot. He can't do anything. He tries to go for a takedown at the last second. Dustin catches him with the right hand, and, you know, he knocks him out. So how can it go in this fight? What's the keys to victory here? Well, Conor, I believe he has to take a very similar approach to what he did versus Nate Diaz. In the second fight, he slowed down a little bit, right? Conor's a very explosive fighter, very powerful. He can get you out there really quick. But he's also decent if he takes his time, and he could possibly take it to a decision. We saw that in the Nate Diaz fight. Even though he dropped him 3 times, he was a lot more efficient with his energy. He utilized leg kicks a lot. I believe he threw like, I don't know what, 13, 15 through half of the fight. And as you know, Nate Diaz, very heavy on the front foot. So I believe for him, he has to utilize that type of strategy where he slows down, you know, be efficient. I think he should probably adopt the more karate stance, I guess, if you will, against Poirier. Because if you just want to box up Poirier, he's going to get knocked out, in my opinion. He has to use his kicks. He has to utilize that. And if possible, use some clinch work. Get him against the cage. Conor's really good about throwing elbows outside the cage, or rather in the clinch. And he's really good about using that shoulder strike. And try not to get into a grappling battle with Dustin Poirier. We haven't really seen a huge amount of groundwork from Dustin Poirier, but it's obvious that he has the edge there. He can take him down. If Conor McGregor decides to go for the takedown, Dustin Poirier is really good about getting you to a guillotine submission, guillotine choke. And he definitely doesn't want to get caught in that. So that's the path to victory for Conor. Slow it down, use leg kicks, and use some good clinch work. Now for Dustin, it's basically the same game plan, right? Attack the leg, and in my opinion, what he should do is adjust to how Conor comes out. And if Conor is really focusing on checking that leg kick, you go low, and then you fake low, you go high and go for the head kick. And we'll see how that plays out. But I don't know, man. With Dustin, he's been in so many wars at lightweight compared to Conor. I mean, he's gone to wars with Dan Hooker, with Max Holloway, with Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje. I mean, just killers in the lightweight division. And he's been active, and he's beat all those guys. Anthony Pettis too. Like when they were on the ground, he got him in a body triangle and broke his ribs. I don't know if you remember that fight.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Dustin's he's a straight killer, man, and he's such a good boxer. And his cardio has never really been an issue. He's taking people out in the third, fourth, fifth round, compared to Conor, who really only has knockouts in the first and second rounds. So I just believe Dustin's the guy here. I mean, he's been in wars. It's very tough to take him out. In fact, since he's been in the lightweight division, no one's taken him out besides Khabib. The comparison between how he did against Khabib versus Conor doesn't matter, because it's not going to be a grappling match. So you can throw that out the window. A lot of Conor fans, they like to meticulously analyze Conor's life and oh my God, this is a motivated Conor. This is a championship
bald
155.
Conor. We got...
Yeah, oh my God, bald Conor, haircut Conor, fucking Italian, slick back hair Conor. It's ridiculous. We get it. He looks in phenomenal shape. I've never seen Conor not in phenomenal shape for his fights, but that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, depending on who he goes against, it plays out, whatever way it should play out. But Conor's just hasn't been as active. I'm not sure if he necessarily has it anymore. He's, a lot of people like to bring up the fact that he's made so much money. He's not a savage like he used to be when he was coming up in, the 145 and 155, when he put out that amazing performance versus Eddie Alvarez. I don't know, man. I don't think he has that anymore. I think Dustin Poirier probably takes him out in the third round. And I think after that, Conor either should retire, or he should seek out just, money fights with Nate Diaz. Obviously, everyone would love to see that. A third fight between him and Diaz, or, you have that Masvidal fight that's out there. Yeah. But at the same time, the second fight, Conor did do well in the first round. So it's not like what are the odds in this fight?
The odds are Poirier favorite 130, McGregor underdog plus 110. So not too far off.
Yeah, they're not far off. And Conor McGregor has the tools to do it. It's just a matter of Dustin Poirier is just a fucking dog out there, man. And when he senses blood in the water, I mean, he just goes for the kill. And I don't know if Conor's got that. I don't know if he could withstand that barrage. So, I got Dustin in the third round.
You're wrong. And here's why. No, I'm just... Absolutely kidding. That was a great take. You know, there's something Mike Tyson said. It's kind of hard to get up and train every day when you're sleeping in silk pajamas and silk sheets every night. Now, obviously, Connor, he has all the money. He's made business moves. He's a great businessman, honestly. He sold all this, made all this money on his whiskey, this and that. He doesn't have to keep fighting. We all know that. Uh, he's a family man now. I mean, there's just so many things about Conor. I think honestly, it's kind of perfect place, perfect time. As you know, he had that crazy streak at 145. He beat Aldo with, you know, that lucky punch. It was a great punch, but he beat Aldo, won the belt. And at the time when he wanted to move up to 155 and take on Eddie Alvarez, Rafael dos Anjos was the champ before Eddie Alvarez. You think Rafael dos Anjos, Conor would have had so much success as he had against Eddie Alvarez against Rafael dos Anjos? I don't think so. I think it'd be a different outcome. I think it's kind of, I'm not going to say lucky, because Conor displayed a masterful striking work against Eddie Alvarez, but Eddie Alvarez, who was a wrestler, never wrestled at all against Conor. He tried to stand up with him, got pieced up. Again, I don't know if he would have had that same amount of success against Rafael dos Anjos at 155, but it'd have been a huge, I think it'd be a different outcome.
I'm going to have to disagree with you here. Here's why.
Why?
I don't know about that take, because Rafael dos Anjos in that point was like killing himself to make 155. Now, even though he had a different skill set than Eddie Alvarez, I don't know, man. Like, if you look at the way Eddie beat Rafael dos Anjos, like, I don't see Conor struggling. Like, he just pieces him up and it's over. And yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you.
Rafael dos Anjos now versus Conor McGregor. Who do you think will win?
Rafael 170. Right, I know. I think Conor still beats him.
Still beats him.
I think he's. I mean, at this point, yeah, because Rafael dos Anjos, you know, he's up there in age. Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you, respectfully, sir.
Nonetheless, we know what Conor's done in the past. Like you said before, Dustin, absolute killer at lightweight. I think he is the better, lightweight fighter here. He's taken on Dan Hooker, Max Holloway. He's beaten Eddie Alvarez twice. Gaethje, absolute warfare. Like, this guy's done all. He's only lost to Khabib, like you said. No shame on that. No one's fucking beat Khabib. No one ever will beat Khabib. I kind of hate to say it, because when Conor, had that huge following, that was when everyone, like all the casuals, kind of knew him. Like, oh, McGregor's fighting, we gotta buy this fight. All this hype. He sold most pay-per-views, this and that. He's had that army from the beginning, but it's just not the same anymore. I mean, he's still a big draw and everything, but you can tell he's not the same fighter. You look at the first fight, he was a complete mixed martial artist. He starts it off with spinning back kick right to the gut. He's throwing leg kicks. He's doing crazy stuff. That's the Conor that, drived in success to gain his belts. The second fight, he likes saying, oh, I'm the best boxer at 155. You may be a really good boxer. You did go up against Floyd Mayweather professionally, not clown show. Professionally, he went up against Floyd Mayweather. He has great boxing. He has great stand-up. But that second fight, he's not moving around. He's not on his toes. He's literally like, his feet are planted, and he's just going for strikes. He's not checking leg kicks. It was hard to see. He did land some great shots, but like you said, Dustin, he ate those big shots from Conor, and he applied pressure. And we all know if you apply a little bit of pressure against Conor, it gets kind of iffy for him. Look at the Diaz fights, a little bit of pressure from Diaz, and Conor's against the cage. They almost stopped that second fight, the Diaz fight. I think it was the third round, end of the third. They almost stopped
Conor
it
was
just
at
getting
the end
tagged.
Of the third.
He didn't have an answer. Great comeback victory for him, but I think it's gonna be kind of the same outcome here. Poirier, amazing fighter. He has hands too. Great boxer. I think he catches Conor in the third round. I'll go fourth round, TKO finish. As far as what happens afterwards, honestly, retire. You do have those big money fights with Diaz 3 you can do.
You just heard
Diaz 3.
You just said that, and Dana started like he instantly turned into a strawberry like he usually does.
Then what the fuck?
I mean, it's hard sometimes you need to hear the truth, man. And you know me, I'm a big Conor fan, and
Big Conor fan.
I've seen his big fights, and he's done amazing things. And then, you know, it's just that Cowboy fight. I don't know if it was just me, but I'm like, dude, this is such an easy fight. I don't know if it was just me that saw this, but I kind of knew, like, dude, Cowboy ain't gonna beat Conor. This is an easy setup fight for something bigger, which, you know, was Dustin, but he got torched. He's just not the same fighter anymore. And you know what? If he does I'm not gonna say miraculously, but if he does, because the odds aren't that far off, if he does win this fight against Poirier, you know, bravo. I'm pretty sure he'll try to get those big money fights against Diaz, the trilogy, or Jorge Masvidal for that BMF belt.
But do you think he challenges for the title? Because Dana will absolutely give him a shot any which way. But against Oliveira, like, oof.
I don't think he should. Honestly, like, I don't think he should, man. Oliveira is crazy. That kid is so fucking good, and like, he submits people like that. And Conor against submissions, I mean, come on, man. That's not gonna last more than one round, honestly. It'd be a fun fight, but I don't think he should do it, even if he does win.
Interesting.
But we'll see. I don't know. It's just, we'll see how this plays out. But I think Dustin Poirier wins it, round 4 TKO.
Okay, I will have to agree with you there. You know, back on the Rafael thing, how like Conor's career has had some really good timing. Like, he's avoided a lot of killers. Like, he's avoided like Frankie Edgar when he was kind of, you know, on the outside of his prime.
Bro,
he avoided
Eddie Alvarez that doesn't wrestle? Eddie Alvarez, like, that's crazy.
That was weird. Yeah, that was crazy.
It's something like you never think he would do that. And just to see him do, like, I guess that's a perfect opponent. And Eddie's like, oh, I can stand up against him. And he just got laid out twice, 3 times. It's something you don't expect.
That you look at that performance though, man. I mean, it was just wild.
It was perfect.
The way he caught him, his distance management compared to now. You mentioned his footwork, where he just stays planted like a boxer. And something,
this isn't boxing.
No, it's not. And in that fight, something he did beautifully was kind of set a fake trap by fooling Eddie on his reach, on his distance. I'll try to show a video of it here, where he basically, you know, he does that big reaching out left hand that he usually does, and he sets it up with a jab. But he does something that he doesn't do anymore, is he uses the footwork to close that distance. In that fight, he tricks Eddie by saying, okay, this is how I'm going to get you standing. Eddie sets that up. He downloads that. And he's like, okay, this is as far as he can go. I'm safe here. And Conor just uses his footwork. He launches himself, hits him with that left hand, and he drops him. I mean, it's very beautifully done. I'll show it on here. And yeah, I mean, it's a completely different Conor from then till now. And as far as
hasn't fought at lightweight, hasn't fought any opponent lightweight. He fought a reeling cowboy at welterweight, and he lost to Floyd Mayweather. It's just, and he lost to Khabib, and he got dropped by Khabib. It's just, dude, you look at all at the end. You know, I hate saying this, but outside of the cage, it's just, it's not the best of attention. Besides his big money moves, which are dubs, I'm just saying, it's sometimes that fame can get to you. And when you try to be that same killer you once were, when you're trying to, like when he won that interim belt against Chad Mendes, you see the emotion he had and how much work and effort and training he did. He broke down, like he hugged his parents, and like he was really on it. And when he won the 145 belt against Jose Aldo, very emotional win. But after 155 against Alvarez, I don't know if it kind of got to him that much, but he thought he can get away with everything, and he can do this, he can do that. I'm the best boxer. Let me fight Floyd. He did okay against Floyd, but he got dropped. Let me go back to UFC, take on Khabib. Sauce Conor against Khabib, not a good idea. That whole altercation, it's just, it didn't break out. Made him look bad. He was talking so much shit, even against Khabib's religion. I was like, oh, this isn't the move, Chief. And then, yeah, you come back as this humble guy. You're a family man now. Respect, you matured a little bit. And you fight a reeling cowboy. You think that, I could be cowboy, I could be anybody. And you fight Dustin. Still respectable. Great, you matured, but you're just not that same fighter. You're not that guy. You're not that guy.
But now it's reversed, right? So now Conor's back to his heel self, right? He's talking shit now. He did that whole BS with Dustin Poirier's charity thing, which was dumb.
He's trolling hard.
Ultra dumb. Huh?
Yeah, you got this. So yeah, he's trolling hard when he.
But not only that, you have this silly. Yeah, he like donated it to another charity, which Dustin was like, dude, that's awesome. I'm glad that you donated to the Boys and Girls Club. That's who we work with, anyways. But the other thing, Conor, with these weird mind games where he's like, he pays to put out a billboard, or not a billboard, but it's set up by the UFC, and Conor makes a tweet saying like the first one to shoot is a dusty bitch or whatever. Yeah. So he's doing like these mind games where like, oh, like if you don't stand up with me, like you're a pussy or whatever.
Yeah. When it's mixed martial arts and you know you can do all these. Yeah, I saw that too. It's like, oh, whoever shoots first, dusty bitch. Like, dude, come on. How old are we? Grown ass man. You're a mixed martial artist. Fight like one. You might win some, for Christ's sake.
And not only that, I mean, on 155, he's avoided so many killers.
Only fought once.
All of which Dustin has pretty much beaten. And yeah, as far as the outside of the octagon antics, that's completely different deal. It's just could be an end of an era here, depending on how. But all this could be thrown and flushed down the toilet if he gets the KO. Oh my God, the MMA
I'm not saying
world
he can't knock
will
him
go
out.
crazy.
He can. Yeah, it'll be a great comeback. This is for a trilogy. Who's gonna get the 2-1? If Conor gets a crazy knockout finish, again, I'm happy. Great. You know, use your name to get those big fights. I would not go for the title because Charles Oliveira is. I don't want those problems. Go against Diaz 3 at 165. You know, really push it, Dane. Hey, we need 165. Me and Diaz, or the welterweight take on Diaz. But
I think if he wins, he's gonna do it. I don't think he's gonna win
Diaz
against
or Masvidal.
I don't think he can beat Charles. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes that fight though. If he beats Dustin, that is.
I think if he does win, he probably will. Because come on, he's never backed down of a title fight. He does want that belt, but at the same time,
he's never defended, by the way, ever.
Yeah, that too. He's got in him. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go here. I got 155. All right, I'm gonna do boxing. I don't think he wants that smoke. I would go for Diaz or Masvidal. Don't fight Oliveira, please. We'll see.
But after that, I mean, it's an exciting fight anyways. Can't wait to see it. Gonna be fireworks. The crowd is gonna go wild. And hopefully Dustin pulls out the win because I made a bet. And yeah.
But who'd you make a bet with? You don't make a bet with me, but make a bet with somebody else?
It's a silly bet with a friend.
Is it $5? Oh, it's the Twitter username?
Basically,
I've heard
if Dustin wins, he has to put his profile picture on, and fortunately, if Conor wins, I have to put a profile picture of a clown. It's an actual person, but it has nothing to do with fighting. But it's yeah, it's a silly bet, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes down. Either way, I just hope it's a great card. Hope it lives up to 261 because I mean the other cards they've been okay, but this is got to be the one where you know every fight hopefully is a banger. We'll have yet to see that.
Yeah, but last pay-per-view was cheese.
I thought it was okay. I mean, the Moreno thing was amazing. That was the big thing.
Besides that,
and then the last minute of Diaz versus Leon Edwards.
Yeah, okay. All that time took 1 minute. Oh, it's crazy. Not worth it.
But we'll see. But those are our takes on the fights. And appreciate you guys watching. We would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. If you would follow us on our media accounts, IG and Twitter. And I'll be live tweeting the main card, doing some scoring. I know I didn't do it last card with Serial Gone and Volkov because it's just that card wasn't it, man. I mean,
ass.
I know respect to Cyril Gane and what he's done in the heavyweight division. He's already number 3 and he's already going for fucking a championship interim fight. versus Derek Lewis. But those main events, I fell asleep. So, but I would like to almost guarantee that this fight will not put you to sleep. This will be something you don't want to miss. Don't blink, and be careful with your bathroom breaks, because you don't want to miss any action.
Remember prelims too.
Prelims as well. They're gonna be fire. So check it out. And yeah, appreciate you guys watching. See you on the next video. Take care, guys.